You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
All set for your flight?
Yep, I've got everything I need. Eye mask, neck pillow, T-Mobile, headphones.
Wait, T-Mobile?
You bet. Free in-flight Wi-Fi. 15% off all Hilton brands. I never go anywhere without T-Mobile. Same goes from a water bottle, chewing gum, nail clippers,
okay,
passport.
I'm gonna leave you to it.
Find out how you can experience travel better at T-Mobile.com/travel.
Qualifying plan required. Wi-Fi were available on select U.S. airlines. Deposit and Hilton Honors membership required for 15% discount. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Good day and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal, and I'm joined into the studio with Ken and Jeff here. How are you both?
What's up?
Good night.
And thank you, Jeff.
This is our second Australia-centered episode in a row.
It is. It's very exciting. We have a very special guest we'll get to in a minute, but we've been giddy over this for quite a long time, so we're going to get to that. But as you might have heard, you didn't hear Matt's name, and Matt, unfortunately, is in transit. You may have heard that he was moving to L.A., which was not a joke. So he was. He is, in fact, moving to L.A.
You know, it's hard to tell on this show. Like, Neal, I've seen your back, and I still don't know if you have a back tattoo.
It varies. But Matt is in transit. He actually got hooked up with a group of Navy SEALs, and they're going to be in a sort of stealth plane that is going to fly under Air Force One and attach itself. And then the SEAL team is going to go up through the tubing into the plane and make some executive decisions.
Does this have something to do with Harrison Ford or
Kurt Russell?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so John Leguizamo, Steven Seagal, executive decision.
Okay.
Very random reference, but check it out. But yeah, so Matt's doing that, and we wish him, luck with all of that. But we have a very, very special guest here today. He's a Cruiserweight Champion on Patreon. He supported the show for a long time, and we're actually big fans of his. We watch a television program that he's on. We, I think, illegally kind of stream it, but it's still okay. We love it. And he's on a show called The Chase. He's our friend Brydon Coverdale. How's it going, Brydon?
G'day, nice to be with you, and I appreciate the g'day that you gave me, particularly because there is a question that I'll be asking you later that is about bad Australian accents. So,
yes.
Good start.
Yeah,
Love
we'll
it.
run rampant with that.
Well, why don't you tell people...
let's note that Neal did not do an accent.
I didn't.
But Jeff did.
Yes.
Jeff did. I could have done an accent, but I, out of respect for our guest, did not.
But Jeff just doesn't give a
will bastardize anything if I think it's funny.
Brydon, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and where people might either know you from or where they should know you from?
Well, I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I've been a quiz person from way back. I've been on 10 or so quiz and game shows here in Australia, where I'm probably quite fortunate that the pool of contestants is a fair bit smaller than it is in the US, so it's easier to get on. At the moment, though, the last 4 years, I've been one of the chasers on the Chase Australia. You guys, I think, have had a version of that on the Game Show Network with my colleague Mark Labette.
Mm-hmm.
He's the chaser in the US version. Essentially, our job is to kind of be a professional quizzer who tries to either stop teams winning money or really making them earn it, because they've got to beat us to win the money.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and speaking of Mark, you're colleagues on your show, and he's on the American version of The Chase, but maybe perhaps in the future here, you guys should face each other on an episode of Triviality and just see, mano a mano.
Yeah, look, that would be a very interesting episode, and if you stuck to the US pop culture, it would be a particularly interesting one, because we'd probably all do quite badly.
We love having you here. We really appreciate your support on Patreon, and you're always great about emailing. And you also actually do a little bit of writing as well, right?
Yeah, I'm a journalist by trade. I've sort of spent 10 plus years as a cricket journalist, a cricket writer, travelling the world, following the Australian cricket team to the places that they go: India, England, South Africa, New Zealand, all these sorts of places. Not doing that full time anymore because I have the chase to keep me occupied and 2 little kids and a third on the way. So I've got plenty to keep me busy. Just do a little bit of writing on the side now.
That's wonderful. Brydon's here. We're excited to play his game. And I guess we should go to the rules guy to figure out what we're doing.
The rules of the game are simple. 20 questions split into 2 rounds worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there'll be a special swing round designed by this week's host. After regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they've accumulated and will have a chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, he did the same thing Jeff did. He did an Australian accent as well.
Yeah, that was weird.
I think his was better than mine, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he actually is Australian and he full-time is doing an American accent like all the Australian actors who are much better at doing...
Could be.
Yeah, Yvonne Strahovski, who basically doesn't have an Australian accent anymore because she's been acting so long.
Yeah, I loved that interview I saw of her, where she said it's basically gone away now and Australian directors are telling her you lost your own accent.
So sad.
It is sad. I think since Matt isn't here, we're just going to do a 3-for-all. Jeff versus Ken versus me, I guess, or myself. But Brydon, I guess, take it away, and we'd love to start the game.
All right, let's kick it off. Round 1, your first question is in sport, and I'll warn you that most of the sports questions I hear on Triviality are the big 4 US sports leagues. I won't be doing that so much. This is a little more worldwide. What was the first city in the Southern Hemisphere to host the Summer Olympics?
Man, I'm really bad with the Olympic cities.
I'm locked in.
But I'm going to lock in with a guess here.
Man. For some reason, I'm thinking like Mexico City, but I don't think they've actually had an Olympics yet, maybe. Or they're going to have one. So I'm trying to think of somewhere around there, or maybe South America, possibly. I don't think... Is Brazil in the Southern Hemisphere? I don't know where the equator is. I'm just going to go Mexico City for no good reason.
I think Brazil is partially in the Southern Hemisphere. Is that right, Jeff?
Almost entirely.
Almost.
There's
entirely.
A little bit that's north of the equator.
Yeah, I don't really know about this. I'm trying to think of something I could pinpoint, but I'm very bad with Olympic history. But I remember the Sydney Olympics well, so I just put Sydney.
I'm gonna play Babe Ruth here and try and call my shot. Sydney was in 2000, Rio was in 16, and the only other one I could remember, and I think it was the earliest, was Melbourne in 56.
I am in it right now. It is Melbourne, 1956.
Oh,
so you're from Melbourne?
And they are the only 3 Southern Hemisphere cities to have hosted either the Summer or Winter Olympics. So, all right, question 2. This is television. Seinfeld and Friends were basically the 2 biggest sitcoms of the 90s, and although there was never an official crossover between the 2 shows, one of the 6 main Friends did appear in an episode of Seinfeld, and one of the 4 main Seinfeld stars did appear in an episode of Friends. Name both stars. You'll need to get them both right to get the points.
All right, I'm going to lock in.
It's all you.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Jason Alexander was the one who was on Friends, because I remember his turn calling Phoebe, I think, who was the suicide hotline operator or something like that. As for the vice versa, I really don't know, but I'm going to go Courtney Cox, because she ended up doing a lot of guest roles.
Yeah, I had a feeling Courtney Cox might have been someone Jerry tried to date or dated. I just kind of pictured her on Seinfeld or remember seeing her. And for the Friends one, when Ken said that, it totally makes sense because we wrote a Friends game for a live trivia event, and I did a picture question of him in the suicide hotline. I did not remember that, but I put Michael Richards.
Yeah, I was pretty certain about Jason Alexander. Courtney Cox makes a lot of sense. I sort of wish I went that direction. I said Lisa Kudrow because I remember she did crossovers with Mad About You, so I figured maybe not as Phoebe, but she was also on Seinfeld. So,
well, yeah, Ken has backed his way into this. It is indeed Jason Alexander and Courtney Cox. So Courtney Cox was one of Jerry's very many girlfriends, and the thing about that episode, she pretended to be his wife to get a dry cleaning discount. That was the joke. was the joke in that episode. And yeah, you were right, Ken, about Jason Alexander in Friends. Phoebe essentially talked him out of committing suicide. He was basically George Costanza with a different name. All right, question 3. Presidential families is the category here. Which US president became something of an internet sensation in 2012 when it became widely reported that 2 of his grandsons were still alive? A fact that was truly remarkable because the president himself was born in 1790 and was the 10th president of the USA.
I am locked in.
Just give me a second to count.
Ken's counting to 10.
Okay, I'm in as well.
The situation was basically like they had kids in their like 50s.
Yeah.
Like both times.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
So he's the 10th president. I don't know the presidents like Ken does, so I can't count up from the beginning. I do remember this being a viral hit, I suppose, on social media. Can't think. Man, I remember hearing it. I just can't pull the name of the president. So in honor of Seinfeld being the previous question, and the gang of the Van Buren boys, I'm going to go Martin Van Buren.
You're not too far off.
Pretty close.
Yep. Yeah. Following Martin Van Buren, you had Tippecanoe and Tyler too. So I said Tyler.
Tippecanoe and Tyler 2 was Harrison.
Mm-hmm. And Tyler was his VP, who would be 10. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Tyler.
Yeah, it's John Tyler. And so basically the story is he had, I think, 15 children. The latest ones when he was, I think, in his 70s. And then one of those children had children when he was in his 60s or 70s. And so 2 of those, a couple of guys who were born in the 1920s and who are, I'm pretty sure, still alive even to this day, in their 90s. And they are grandsons of John Tyler.
Wow.
It's crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's 200-something years for 3 generations.
Yep. That's right. Yeah. All right. We're moving on to music now. One of David Bowie's biggest hits, which 1983 song has a music video that depicts a young Australian Aboriginal couple in various settings, including dancing in an outback pub, visiting the big city of Sydney, and wandering in the bush where they mysteriously find a pair of red shoes.
I'm going to lock in, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm going with my favorite David Bowie song, so that's what I'm going to lock in with.
All right, I'm in with a guess because I can't pick a song based on the year, and I haven't seen this video, so just picking one that you can dance to.
This is killing me because the red shoes, that's something. That's a lyric or something, and I'm just trying to remember. Yeah, I've gone through a few Bowie songs, can't remember which one it was, so I'll settle on Suffragette City.
Yeah, I originally wrote down Changes, and then I made a change myself and put Suffragette City because I think that's the danciest one.
Well, my favorite David Bowie song goes a little something like, "Put on your red shoes and dance the blues." So I went with Let's Dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Let's Dance. Yeah, if you knew the song but not the video, that was the way to get into that one. It's lyric in the song references the red shoes. So, hey, well done, Neal.
Good Bowie impression too.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Was that Bowie or Jimmy Bowes?
It depends on what alley you find him.
I was going to say we'll get to the bad accents in a minute.
Yeah, we will. All right, your next question, this is a type of question that I'm calling nearest the pin. So the answer will be a numerical answer. I'm not expecting anyone to get it spot on, but I will give points to whoever's closest. So points will go to somebody.
This is the first PvP question I think we've ever had.
What's the PvP? What's PvP?
Player versus player.
Oh, okay.
The longest match in professional tennis history was played at Wimbledon in 2010 between John Isner and Nicolas Mahut. What was the final score in the insanely long 5th set, which was eventually won by Isner?
Okay, I'm going to lock in just with a random guess.
Yeah, I've got no basis for figuring this out. So am I.
I'm going to go with 17-15.
I'm a little close to that. I went 16-14.
I went 88-90.
Yeah, well, 2 of you undershot it, and 1 of you slightly overshot it, but not by much. It was 70-68.
Wow.
It was like a very many day match, if I remember right.
The final set alone took over 8 hours, and on its own was longer than any other match in professional tennis history. That set alone. The whole match went across 3 days. It was just insane.
Well, if you got the patience for 5-day cricket, then... Perhaps
and one of
this
these
is tolerable.
One of these players was Sting then?
What?
Just because the match went on really, really long.
Stop with the Sting jokes.
I don't know why. Today was a Sting day. And it's not on the other Australian episode of Triviality.
Oh, man.
I don't know why Sting is on the brain, but he's my desert roast today.
All right. Well, yeah, points to Jeff on that one because he was definitely the closest. All right. Next question. This is your obligatory Simpsons question. Which long-time recurring character on The Simpsons was effectively retired by the show's writers in 2013 after the death of actress Marsha Wallace, who had voiced the character since the show's second episode back in 1990?
I'm locked in.
Me too.
All right. So as the listeners know, I don't watch The Simpsons. I've seen a few episodes. I'm going to describe the character, and maybe you guys can give me 5 points because I don't watch the show. I don't know any characters' names. It's the woman who is Bart's teacher who wears a cardigan and has a short brown haircut.
I'll tell you, you're locked in?
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
I don't know what her name is.
Still need the
Miss
name.
Oh man, it's the one who makes them right on the board. Miss
I'll not cheat on my test.
Dear Mrs. Hoover, you have Lyme disease.
I don't know, Miss Slughorn. I don't know.
From Harry Potter?
He was kind of on the right track. It's Miss Krabappel.
Yep, I said Edna Krabappel.
Yeah, Edna Krabappel it is. Yep.
Man.
I thought that might have been a Matt question. He's a Simpsons guy, isn't he?
He is.
And I think they actually did kill off Miss Krabappel too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did they? I stopped watching after
about me too, but
8th or 9th season, along
10,
with
11.
pretty much
Yeah.
everyone else, I think. Yeah. All right, let's move on. This question is surprising film credits. Pajama Party, Beach Blanket Bingo, and How to Stuff a Wild Bikini, all released in 1964 or 65, are among the final films featuring which Hollywood legend who was described by film critic Roger Ebert as, quote, the greatest actor-director in the history of the movies.
Just can't get California champagne commercials out of my head for some reason. The Paul Masson sparkling wine. The greatest.
Oh, I have an idea. I'm just trying to pull it. Oh, no.
Just looking at your shelf real quick.
I know, right? Don't turn around.
I think, yeah. I'm not too sure about it, but I'm just going to lock it in.
Okay. I'm locked in as well.
So I went John Ford.
Ooh, John Ford.
I'm just taking a stab here, and maybe Charlie Chaplin was long-lived. I don't know.
So I went with someone. I was trying to think of who Roger Ebert would have said was an actor-director, and you would think he'd go maybe Charlie Chaplin, but Charlie Chaplin, I know wasn't in those movies, and I went with the American version, Buster Keaton.
That was my second guess.
Yeah, I would have been a little bit disappointed if Neal hadn't have even got close. It is Buster Keaton. Well played.
Good job. I should have got. Why did I go Charlie Chaplin?
I mean, you were that close to it.
Honestly,
that was pretty close. Charlie Chaplin did live until the 1970s, so he was definitely alive then. But Buster Keaton, for some reason, he did this series of those kind of surfing beach kind of movies in the 60s with a lot of young people, and he was kind of the.
Did they have some good stunts?
The token cameo. No, the one that's called How to Stuff a Wild Bikini came on TV here a couple of years ago late at night, and I was just like, what the hell is this? Buster Keaton is in it as like a 70-year-old witch doctor. And
the dude was always like a comedian, so it's like maybe he just was tapping into that.
Yeah, that's right. And Uncle Leo from Seinfeld was in it as about a 30-year-old as well. It was just a bit of a mind-blowing film to see.
Trying to picture him as a 30-year-old.
The only reason I got that one is I remember watching a documentary and seeing Buster Keaton in color, it was kind of weird for me, and then seeing him old in a comedy, and that's kind of where I pulled it from.
All right, next category is beer and geography. Although a common stereotype is that Australians are big beer drinkers, we are in fact only 23rd on the list of countries by beer consumption per capita. The Czech Republic is easily number one, but second on the list is an African nation whose beer drinking ways presumably date back to its German colonial origins. What is the name of this country, which was previously called German Southwest Africa and was sort of given a new name 2 years ago when Donald Trump proved unable to pronounce its name properly?
He's so good at mispronouncing things.
I was ready with the Czech Republic thing, and then you took it away from me.
God, I've got a guess. It's in the region, so.
Yeah, I have a guess as well.
This is one of those things where having a partner is good because if I saw it, I think I would remember, probably from the mispronunciation more than the actual answer, but I just don't know. I'm just going to lock in Wisconsin.
Okay, I'm terrible with African geography, so I just picked a country that I know is relatively southwest-ish because I just wrote a question about it, and I went with Gabon.
Yeah, I took a stab at Swaziland.
Yeah, no points. Jeff is definitely closest, but this is a country that Donald Trump called Nambia. It's Namibia.
That's
right.
That's right.
Like we said, his mistakes are hard to recount.
I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Before Donald Trump mispronounced Namibia, I believe it was also famous a few years before that for Angelina Jolie, right? Isn't that where she adopted one of her children or something? I remember it being a huge news story. Namibia. Maybe. I think so. Or Madonna, I can't remember.
All right, moving on to someone else who may or may not have an accent. Famous New Zealanders. Which 10-time Emmy-winning US TV series has been hosted ever since its 2001 debut by New Zealander Phil Kogan?
I have a guess, and I'm going to lock in.
Me too.
I've got nothing. I don't have an idea. Yep.
All right. I just remember Amazing Race won a ton of Emmys like every year for best reality show or something like that, and I don't remember that guy's name, so maybe it's that.
Yes, American Race. The Amazing Race went on a really long stretch of wins, and I didn't know the host's name, but I do remember when it would win, they would introduce him because everyone knew Greg Probst from Survivor, and I could never remember the guy's name, and I knew it was something really generic, so I went with Amazing Race.
Yeah, it is The Amazing Race. He doesn't speak with a New Zealand accent. It's very much an American accent, but he is a proper Kiwi, Phil Kogan.
Wow, that's why I didn't know, because he doesn't have an accent, and I was like, well, maybe it's...
No, that's right.
Maybe he lost it.
All right, last question in this first round. The category, and you'd be disappointed if I didn't have one, is cricket, sort of. Which cricketer has scored the most first-class centuries in history? Is a question that is central to the plot of which Oscar-winning film?
I don't know. I just have a random guess.
I don't know any movies that feature cricket or a cricket player.
I don't either.
That are coming to mind.
I think it's probably a plot point where, like in Little Giants, I don't know why I'm talking about Little Giants, but in Little Giants, they talk about the annexation of Puerto Rico. I'm sure it's just a line in the script.
I wanted to talk about Field of Dreams. So.
Okay, I'm locked in.
You're locked in. Jeff, did you lock in?
I'll go Field of Dreams.
Okay. I don't know why I just said A Beautiful Mind.
And I'm going to say maybe that was one of the questions in Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh, man.
Maybe.
I'm glad that somebody got it. It is Slumdog Millionaire. Yes, that was, I think, might have been the second last question at quite a high level. It was the one where the host tried to steer him in the wrong direction in the bathroom. Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
So,
yep.
It looks like Ken's bowling an excellent game right now.
Millionaire.
So I got 50 points after that first round.
I've got 30.
And I've got 40.
Oh, man. I'm definitely going to lose this game.
I'm not too unhappy with those scores because I wrote this, with the intention of it being a 2-on-2. So those scores aren't too bad, I think, for playing on your own.
Pretty ideal.
Yeah.
All right, so we're moving into the swing round.
Yeah, and before we get to Brydon's swing round, he is a Patreon supporter, so we just want to call out all of our wonderful Patreon supporters who make the show possible. And Jeff, what do they mean to us?
Everything.
Wow, I didn't even know where to go. I thank you. That's the only thing I can say. Really, it's the whole reason the show is continuing to grow and be successful. We couldn't do it without our patrons. If you'd like to be one of those patrons, check out the information in the show notes. Go to patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. A lot of great things for any level of support. And again, we always joke it's $1 a day. It's not. Tiers start at 3 cents a day. I know I did the math, but anything you can give is greatly appreciated. It is the whole reason that the show is free for everyone, and we have continued success. So
yeah, and all joking aside, anytime we get one of those emails that says you have a new Patreon support, it really makes our day.
Yeah,
and
I smile.
Yeah,
which is unbelievable if you've ever met me.
That's true. Jeff's cold, dark heart shines a little brighter.
Just a little bit.
So yesterday, the 27th, September 27th, right?
Yes.
So we got one of those, and it warmed my heart. And I also found out Spider-Man is still in the MCU, which also warmed my heart.
Yes, they worked out a deal. Spider-Man Spider-Man not himself, but Disney and Marvel and Sony worked out a deal. So good for you, Ken, that you're happy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the multi-billion-dollar companies agreeing on something made you happy.
It's one of my little joys, all right? Don't take it away from me.
Well, Brydon, we know you as the biggest Tom Holland supporter. You have a huge poster of him behind you. So is the swing round about Tom Holland?
Sadly, no. The swing round, I'm going to give you 10 clues to famous people who were born in Australia. Now, you may or may not know that they're Australian, and I'll say that there are a couple that are quite tough, but a lot of them are quite gettable. So just do your best to name these 10 famous Australians.
Wonderful.
Number 1. Born in 1931, the media tycoon who memorably appeared on The Simpsons and referred to himself as a billionaire tyrant. Number 2. Born in 1975, the mononymous singer who hit number 1 on the US charts with the song Cheap Thrills. Number 3. Born in 1962 with the name Michael Balzari, the mononymous musician who was ranked the second best bass player of all time in a Rolling Stone Readers poll. Number 4. Born in 1947, the actress who finally found Hollywood stardom in her 60s when she was nominated for Oscars for Animal Kingdom and Silver Linings Playbook. Number 5. Born in 1968, the actor known for his lead role as Dr. Christian Troy in Nip Tuck and who is also the son of an Australian Prime Minister. Born in 1971, the controversial figure who famously lived at number 3 Hants Crescent, London, from 2012 to 2019. Number 7, born in 1941. Are you prepared to name the singer who had 3 songs hit number 1 on the US charts in the early 70s, most notably the feminist anthem I Am Woman? Number 8. Born in 1962, the director who followed his breakthrough film Muriel's Wedding with the Hollywood hit My Best Friend's Wedding and who initializes his name to avoid confusion with a famous Australian actor. Number 9, born in 1981, considered one of Australia's all-time greatest basketball players. She was the WNBA's MVP in 2003, 2007 and 2010, all while playing for the Seattle Storm. And number 10, Matt really had to be here for this one. I apologise in advance. Born in 1965, considered one of Australia's all-time greatest basketball players. He never really established himself in the NBA, but did win a championship ring in 1999 with the San Antonio Spurs.
All right, we'll think about these for a minute, and we'll be back with our answers. Okay, all the answers are now locked in, so let's get the questions one more time, and we'll see how we did.
All right, born in 1931, the media tycoon who memorably appeared on The Simpsons and referred to himself as a billionaire tyrant.
Yep, this is an easy one for me. It's Rupert Murdoch, the billionaire tyrant.
Seeing as how he owns Fox, I said Rupert Murdoch.
Didn't know it from The Simpsons, but I knew it from his history. I went Rupert Murdoch.
It is indeed Rupert Murdoch. Well played. Born in 1975, the mononymous singer who hit number 1 on the US charts with the song Cheap Thrills.
This was tough for me, but I think maybe Sia.
Yeah, I went with Sia.
Yeah, she's older than I think every time I think about it, so I said Sia.
Yeah, her surname is Furler. Her real first name is Sia. It is Sia. Well played. Number 3, born in 1962 with the name Michael Balzari, the mononymous musician who was ranked the second best bass player of all time in a Rolling Stone Readers poll.
I'm going to say this is Back to the Future co-star Flea.
Yeah, I was way off, and for some reason I'm still on a Sting kick, so I said Sting.
I was thinking, what are the odds that, Flea is, pushing 60? And then I remembered, the band's been together for like 35 years, and he was in Back to the Future. And then I thought, what are the odds he's the second best bass player? And that gave me pause, but I went with Flea.
Yeah, it is Flea. A lot of people might not know he was born in Australia. He was born in Melbourne, I think, although moved to the US as a child. But it is Flea.
So Neal, do you think Sting is just still inside your head?
I think he's going to be there for a long time. I know that, and so yeah,
he's just staying there.
He's just staying there, and right. He'll leave when
just enjoying being there.
Yeah, he'll get out when he wants to get out.
All right, moving on. Born in 1947, the actress who finally found Hollywood stardom in her 60s, Oscar-nominated for Animal Kingdom and Silver Linings Playbook.
I could not pull this one. I just put in Smith and hoping to be lucky.
Yeah, big fan of her, especially in Silver Linings Playbook. But when I saw Animal Kingdom with Joel Egerton, she's awesome in this movie. It's Jackie Weaver.
And we had a Lucky Leguizamo on a previous episode, so I went Leguizamo.
Oh, so close. Yeah, it is Jackie Weaver. Yeah, so it was quite surprising when, because she's been around in Australia for years and years as, a good actress, but to suddenly kind of hit Hollywood stardom that late in life, that was pretty amazing for her. All right. Born in 1968, the actor known for his lead role as Dr. Christian Troy in Nip Tuck, and who is also the son of an Australian Prime Minister.
Yeah, I'm just trying to go with a Lucky Jones here.
I think Ken was on the right track. I believe he played Dr. Doom in Fantastic Four, and I put Julian McMahon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right. I was trying to think of the other guy, Dylan something. I can't...
McDermott?
Is it McNamara? What is his name? I can't remember the other guy.
I can't remember.
Yeah, anyways, I couldn't remember it, so taking a whiff.
Yeah, Prime Minister of Australia in the early 70s was William McMahon. It is Julian McMahon. All right. Born in 1971, the controversial figure who famously lived at 3 Hunts Crescent, London from 2012 to 2019.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't know the address reference here. I'm saying Charlie Bronson, the career criminal, not the actor.
I didn't know the reference to the address, but I thought someone who might have spent some time there running some tricks on people was Jimmy Bose.
I think this might be Julian Assange. So I said Julian Assange.
Yeah, might have given it away if I'd said the Ecuadorian embassy, but that is the address of the Ecuadorian embassy in London. It is Julian Assange. Well played.
Nice poll, Jeff.
He was forcibly removed in 2019.
That's right. Number 7, born in 1941. Are you prepared to name the singer who had 3 songs hit number 1 on the US charts in the early 70s, most notably I Am Woman?
All right, I'm going for my second Lucky Smith.
I have no idea. I just had a tap.
I took a guess. Olivia Newton-John. I think she's Australian.
She is.
Well, there was a slight clue in the question. Are you prepared? If you are prepared, you are ready. Her name is Helen Reddy.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, this is a tough one. Neal might get this, but it is a toughie. Born in 1962, the director who followed his breakthrough film Muriel's Wedding with the Hollywood hit My Best Friend's Wedding, and who initializes his name to avoid confusion with a famous Australian actor.
I went with a very confusing director. I think this is real, but there's P.T. Anderson, there's Wes Anderson, and there's W.S. Anderson.
Yeah, there's Paul W.S. Anderson, director of the Resident Evil flicks. This one's a really deep reference. I like My Best Friend's Wedding quite a bit, and I just know this one from stupid knowledge. I believe it's P.J. Hogan.
The only initial one I could think of was P.T. Anderson, so that's what I went with.
Yep. Paul Hogan is this director's real name, but there is a famous Australian actor called Paul Hogan. So it is P.J. Hogan. Well played, Neal. Number 9, born in 1981, the WNBA MVP 2003, 07, and 10.
No idea, but I know Cheryl Swoops is pretty good, so Swoops.
Yeah, I had a tap on this one, unfortunately. I did not know.
Yeah, my WNBA knowledge is worse than my NBA knowledge, and my NBA knowledge is bad at best. So I had no footing here.
Yeah, last couple of questions in this round really do miss Matt, I must admit. But this is Lauren Jackson, who we actually had Jackson. On. Yeah, that's right. We actually had her as a contestant on the celebrity version of The Chase just recently, and she is enormously tall. And the last one, born in 1965, another of Australia's greatest basketball players who won a championship ring with the Spurs in 1999.
Yeah, as we were saying, I think this is the player that was mentioned on our previous episode, but I don't remember, even though it was just last week, if not an hour ago. But I put in Lucky Jones.
Yeah, this one, I made a joke on that show that it reminded me of Harold Baines, the baseball player, and I couldn't remember what the original name was, and I just, as a guess, I threw out Danes. So that's my guess.
Why wouldn't you put Baines?
Well, because I think I changed the actual name, and I said it sounds like Harold
Baines.
So the Aaron Baines, yeah, the current player for Phoenix. No, I think we're looking at Luke Longley.
Oh, this one's Luke Longley.
This is the Luke Longley era.
Come on.
So stupid.
But Luke Longley actually had quite a successful NBA career. This is someone who didn't last as long there, but did win a championship. His name is Andrew Gaze.
Was it Gaines?
No.
Gaze, G-A-Z-E.
Oh, okay.
No, we're talking about different people.
All right. Well, I'm tacking on an extra 15 points from that round to bring me to 65.
I'm tacking on 25, bringing me to 55.
And I added 20, going to 60.
Moving on to round 2. First question is in history. Who was the only one of King Henry VIII's 6 wives to provide him with a son? As a result of this, although she died soon after giving birth, she remained his favourite wife and is the only one buried next to Henry. If you don't know the answer, just ask Joyce Frankenberg.
I'm locked in.
I have a guess. I don't remember which one it is.
Okay. I have a guess, too. I'll start. I couldn't remember. Like I said, I was thinking of the show 6, the Broadway show, or soon-to-be Broadway show. And, every wife has a song. But I was not listening to this one, I don't think, because the song I was listening to was talking about the fact that Henry VIII could not raise his axe. So I'm going to say it was Seymour.
Yep. I think she died in childbirth and was the only one to receive a queen's funeral, Jane Seymour.
I, too, guessed Jane Seymour.
Yes, and the actress Jane Seymour's real name is Joyce Frankenberg, so that was the that was the reference there. It is Jane Seymour.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool trivia.
Yeah, that's the one thing I know about Henry VIII, so thank you.
Number 2, bad Australian accents. Based on a memoir by Australian fighter pilot Paul Brickhill, which classic war film of 1963 featured an ensemble cast that did not include Rick Dalton, but did include James Coburn and his terrible attempt at an Australian accent?
All right, I'm locked in.
You locked in?
Kind of. I was going to talk it out loud.
That's fine. I'll lock in because I don't know it.
So you're both locked in?
Yeah.
All right. So Rick Dalton, the clue, that's Leonardo DiCaprio from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's right.
That's who he portrays, right?
Yeah. So
I didn't know if that was a real guy or not.
No. So
I think I'm right then.
Yeah. So initially I wanted to say Dirty Dozen, but I don't remember Coburn being in that. I'm thinking of Lee Marvin, I believe. And then when the clue of Rick Dalton came up in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they do a whole sequence where it's imagined that he portrays Steve McQueen's role in Great Escape. And I kind of remember Coburn being in the Great Escape. So that's what I locked in with.
Yep. Rick Dalton was ringing a bell. I couldn't place it, but yeah, you're right. That's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I remember that scene. And then that scene and Steve McQueen's role in that movie kind of inspired me to watch several Steve McQueen movies last month, and one of them was Great Escape.
I went the wrong direction. I went Catch-22.
It is the Great Escape, yes. I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood not long ago, and so there, as Neal says, there is a scene where Rick Dalton essentially acts as Steve McQueen for a couple of minutes because he supposedly was close to getting the role, the Leonardo DiCaprio character.
Didn't put 2 and 2 together.
And James Coburn's Australian accent is not great. There weren't as many Australian actors in Hollywood at the time, so.
But is it better than Quentin Tarantino's accent in Django Unchained?
Ooh.
Which is pretty bad.
No, it's definitely not. Look, I would say if we had to rank them, Tarantino's is the worst. To be fair, Coburn's is probably even better than Meryl Streep's in the film that's called Evil Angels here. I think it had a different Cry in the Dark.
Oh yes, Dingo Ate My Baby. Yeah,
early 80s. Yeah. So I mean, if even Meryl Streep can't do an Australian accent, then
who can?
It must be tough. Yeah, that's right. All right. Third question in this round is presidential names. Which US president could claim to be a member of the Christ family, his father's middle name being Christ, and his grandmother's maiden name being Christ? Oh, we're talking about a president from the last 50 years.
All right, just have a random guess.
Yeah, me too. I'm in. Just guess.
Yeah, okay. I got to guess.
Okay. Some conservatives might think this person is Christ, but I went with Reagan.
That's a good guess. I don't know why I just said Gerald Ford.
Yeah, I was also thinking Gerald Ford. I knew his name changed, or he changed his name, so I thought maybe there was something there.
I could have actually said it's a president from the last 50 minutes because it's Donald Trump.
Oh, wow.
So his father was Frederick Christ Trump, and Frederick's mother was Elizabeth Christ. So Donald Trump is a member of the Christ family.
And Trump's real last name is like Drumpf, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
You mean like when they came here? Yeah.
Yeah, when they came here, yeah.
Number 4, shared titles. What title is shared by Ed Sheeran's first hit single and an action-adventure TV series of the 1980s that starred Lawrence Turow?
I think I'm locked in.
I can't think of any of them
For
right now.
I do not care.
He's in Yesterday quite a lot. I thought he was just going to have a quick cameo.
I'm out on this one.
Yeah, Ken is not a fan of Ed Sheeran.
I'm vetoing the Ed Sheeran question here.
His albums are like stupidly named, right? Like they have like a sequence or something.
It's like the mathematical signs, I think.
Yeah, there's
right,
like X equals, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm tapped.
But I don't remember a single one of his songs off the top of my head. Yeah, it's not my jam.
Shape of You.
Oh, I'll go Shape of You then, because it's, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Shape of You is what I locked in with then.
All right. Well, it might help if you knew that Lawrence Turow was the real name of Mr. T. It's the A-Team.
Oh, that was a song of his?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that was the title of his first hit single. It sort of hit at least the top 20. So, yeah, there you go.
Interesting.
All right, question number 5 is sport and geography. With approximately 165 million people, making it one of the 10 most populated countries in the world, which Asian nation is the most populous country that has never won an Olympic medal?
I'm locked in.
I have a really good...
I'm locked in.
So, if you're watching Bloodsport, our video bonus series, our 8-episode tournament, I believe you would have seen this answer on episode 2 or 3, because I'm editing them, and I want to say that Austin Keep, one of our contestants, said this answer, and he was pretty close. I just can't remember the country. I can't remember if it was Indonesia or there's something close to that. I can't remember. I think it's Indonesia, but that's what I'm going to lock in with.
Yeah, Indonesia for me.
I guessed Indonesia.
Indonesia is a very good guess. Indonesia had no Olympic medals until 1992, I think it was, when badminton came in, and they dominate in badminton. This is Bangladesh.
Oh, that's what he said, was Bangladesh.
It's all coming. I had amnesia regarding Indonesia.
Yeah. So, to be fair, Bangladesh has only been an independent country less than 50 years. So, 71, I think it was, yeah.
So there's still time.
There is still time. That's right.
So
good cricket team, though, Bangladesh.
After 5 in that second round, looks like I'm adding 20 points, so not too terrible.
Yep, same here.
I only added 10. So I'm at 70.
I'm at 75.
And 85 for me.
All right, question 6 is in science and geography. For many years, a trivia staple was that the only U.S. state to have a chemical element named after it was California, that element being californium. But which state has joined California on the periodic table with element number 117 named in this state's honor in 2016?
I'm locked in.
And what's the element called? All right, I'm locked in.
I remember Jeff talking about this, or we've had this trivia question or something similar. The only state that probably deserves to have an element named after it is a state that often is vilified for the residents' use of different elements put together. So I'm going to say Floridian, Florida.
That might be right. I said Utah.
So 118 ends the current periodic table. Those are all the noble gases. That would be oganesson is 118. If you back off from that, those are all like the chlorine, the fluorine, those kinds of things. And it is Tennessine for Tennessee, right. Oak Ridge National Lab. Yep.
Yeah, I had to put a Jeff question in here somewhere. It is Tennessee. Yes.
Much appreciated.
That's right. So a lab in Tennessee worked with a lab in, I think, Russia or somewhere like that to essentially produce that element.
Yeah, I think it was the Oak Ridge National Lab, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And I'll send you PayPal later. I don't know what the exchange rate is, but we'll figure it out.
For the freebie.
For the gimme.
All right. Well, this may be a Jeff question too. I'm not sure. Number 7 is the internet and geography. Which small Pacific Island nation was unable to afford the fee to join the United Nations until 2000, when it brought in $50 million by selling its highly desirable top-level internet domain code?
I am locked in.
I remember this question because, like, the abbreviation for the nation is especially useful as a domain code.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. I'm just thinking of small Pacific Island nations, and I'm gonna go with Samoa.
Maybe something clicked. I'm thinking Malaysia, Micronesia. I went with Micronesia.
Okay. I think I've got this right, but if I'm wrong, I'll be very devastated because I feel like I got this question wrong before. I believe the country is Tuvalu because their extension is .tv.
Oh, come on.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, spot on. It is .tv from Tuvalu. All right, question 8 is in mothers-in-law. In 1979, Ingrid Bergman became the mother-in-law of which famous film director?
The question is, who is Ingrid Bergman's daughter? Or son?
I believe it's Isabella Rossellini.
You just going to tell me that?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the answer. I mean, I'm doing so poorly. I think that's her daughter.
Aren't you in, like, second? Or tied for first?
I don't know. I'm just trying to remember who Isabella Rossellini married.
Oh, no.
I will say this is not obscure like PJ Hogan. This is a big name.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm locked
Why
in.
Why do I think I should know this?
I'm locked in.
All right. I chose a film director who made a movie that Sting was in, so to speak. I went with David Lynch, who also directed Isabella Rossellini at one point.
Nice. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I can't remember. I don't think he was married to her, but he's done other weirder things, I'm sure.
Sounds like my guy.
So I went with Woody Allen.
That's what I went with.
Well, David Lynch was a good guess, but based on having directed Isabella Rossellini, because she is Ingrid Bergman's daughter, and for 3 years she was married to Martin Scorsese.
That's right.
That was the other one I was thinking of.
I knew that. Oh man. It's a bad day for me.
She was
Question
tired
9.
of finding eyebrow hairs on her pillow.
Yeah, and every time she came home, like he kept putting X's everywhere
These
in
David
the house.
Lynch references? I don't understand.
No, Martin Scorsese.
references.
Martin Scorsese and Eugene Levy walk into a barber shop.
If you want a David Lynch reference, then here you go.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
I knew I was becoming an old person when I went to the barber and they asked me if I wanted my eyebrows trimmed. That was a bad day.
You're not as old though as you would be if you went to the barbershop and they asked if you wanted your ears trimmed.
Yeah, that will be a disappointing day, I'll tell you. Question 9, fittingly, is about old people. The oldest person ever to serve in either house of the U.S. Congress was Strom Thurmond, senator from South Carolina. At the time of his eventual retirement in 2003, how old was Strom Thurmond? And I'll give you 1 year either way.
All right, I'm locked in.
I'm locked in with a guess.
Yep, I got one too.
I'm going to say he was 96.
Ooh, yeah, I probably should have gone higher. I said 82.
Yeah, I kind of split the difference. I said 87.
You needed to go even higher. He was 100.
Whoa.
So he was 100 years old and still serving as a senator.
Gotta love gerrymandering.
Final question in regulation is in TV. Which 2 US sitcoms of the 80s and 90s were both based around families with the surname Tanner? And if you would like, I'm happy to give split the points. If you get one, you can have half points.
All right. Well, I'm in with one of them, so I'll take the half credit.
Yeah, for doing partial. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here all day. I'm locked in.
Yeah, so the one that seems to be easy to get would be Full House. Michelle Tanner, DJ Tanner. I can't remember.
Everyone always forgets about Stephanie.
That's true. Another show that had a family at the center of it. 80s and the 90s. I want to say like it's not Perfect Stranger, Step by Step, or Family Matters.
The Winslows?
Yeah, the Winslows, Carl Winslow.
What was the last name on Step by Step?
I don't remember. That was Patrick Duffy. Maybe it is that. I don't know. But this is too late for this answer. But I'm just going to say The Nanny.
I'm just taking half credit for Full House.
Yeah, half credit for okay.
And I'm going Full House, and my throwaway answer is Growing Pains.
Yeah, Full House was the easy one. The other one, I can't remember all of the names. The dad was Willie Tanner. It's Alf.
Oh, yeah.
There's Matt when you need him.
I would say that's the maddest question I've ever heard.
He's in transit.
He's in transit.
All right, with that, I've rounded off my score straight to 90.
Oh, man, took a little lead over me. I am just at 80 now.
And I have 95.
All right, categories for the final. We have inventions, 1960s music, Major League Baseball, animals, and disappearances.
So as we're figuring out our wagers here, Brydon, you did propose a wager of our own here for the winner or the losers of the game. What were you thinking?
Well, I think in keeping with the rest of the show, I think that the loser has to put on record their best attempt at an Australian accent.
All right. Okay.
That should be deeply offensive.
Crikey.
Well, Brydon's giving us permission. He's Australian.
Oh, okay.
I'm giving you permission.
That's how it works.
He's literally the ambassador here.
Okay. All right. Well, my wager is locked in. So, should we get the questions?
Let's do it.
In inventions, orange was the new black for Australian David Warren, who in the 1950s invented what now ubiquitous transport-related device. In 1960s music, which iconic song of 1963 mentions 13 locations in California, one in Hawaii, and somewhat incongruously, given the song's title, quote, Australia's Narrabeen? Major League Baseball, 3 Australians have been selected for Major League Baseball's All-Star Game, a Milwaukee Brewers catcher in 1999, an Oakland Athletics relief pitcher in 2013, and another Athletics pitcher in 2019. Name any one of those 3. In animals, described as about the size of a small dog, which animal, currently found in the wild in only one Australian state, is the largest living carnivorous marsupial in the world? And in disappearances, in 1967, we here in Australia quite literally lost our Prime Minister. Harold Holt, who was the Prime Minister at the time, disappeared and was never seen again. What leisure activity was he participating in at the time of his disappearance?
Okay, we will consider these answers, and we'll be right back. Okay, with a little bit of difficulty, looks like everybody's locked in for these final answers. So let's start with number 1 in inventions.
Yeah, orange was the new black for Australian David Warren, who in the 1950s invented what now ubiquitous transport-related device.
The key here was the orange to this question, and I finally settled on a road cone.
Nice. What did you wager?
I wagered 10.
10. Just for the record, I wagered 0 all the way down because I'm in third place.
Maybe a good strategy.
I hope so.
You might win off that.
Let's see if it pays off. So I also locked in on orange, and I wrote traffic cone.
I wasn't even thinking about traffic cone. I just figured he invented the rolling suitcase.
Well, orange was the new black was the clue. It is called the black box flight recorder, despite the fact that it is orange.
Oh, yeah.
And a little bit of extra information. David Warren died 5 or 6 years ago, and someone in his family clearly had a sense of humor because he was buried in a coffin that had the label on it that said, flight recorder inventor, do not open.
All right, let's go for number 2.
1960s music. Which iconic song of 1963 mentions 13 locations in California, 1 in Hawaii, and somewhat incongruously, given the song's title, Australia's Narrabeen?
All right, for 10 more points, I got a little lost, so I put Kokomo.
I think you're on the right track. I, again, wagered 0. The only reason I knew this one, and it doesn't matter because it's for no points, Colleen and I were driving up to Woodstock for a day. Woodstock, Illinois. It has a really cute downtown that was used for the filming of Groundhog Day. And we listened to some Beach Boys because the weather was actually nice that day, and we just thought it'd be fun to listen to some summer music. So we went with the Beach Boys, and I believe, because there's many places named in the song, it is Surfin' USA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I put 10 on this. I said Surfin' USA.
Yeah, correct. California, Hawaii make a lot of sense for Surfing USA. I don't know why Australia got a mention, but it did. Question 3, Major League Baseball. 3 Australians have been selected for Major League Baseball's All-Star Game. A Brewers catcher in 99, an Athletics relief pitcher in 2013, and another Athletics pitcher this year, 2019. Name any one of them.
I bet a big 0 on this one, and I put Wade.
Oh, nice. 0, I had to tap on this one, fortunately.
I don't think I've ever been happier to bet 0 in my entire life. Apparently, I wrote strike through, so...
Yeah, once again, I was expecting Matt to be here for this game, but the answers are the catcher in 99 was Dave Nilsson, the pitcher in 2013, Grant Balfour, and the pitcher this year, Liam Hendricks.
So close.
Described as the size of a small dog, which animal currently found in the wild in only one Australian state is the largest living carnivorous marsupial in the world?
All right, for 30 points, I just put my neck on the line here, and I put Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was trying to picture an animal that was the same size as Jeff's dog and that was very angry, and I went with Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah, they're a bit bigger than my dog because my dog's 4 pounds. I wagered 10, and I too think this is the Tasmanian Devil.
Hey, Jeff, did you know that cancer is absolutely rampant in the Tasmanian Devil population
yes,
right now?
It's a face cancer. I was
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, well, your neck is safe, Ken. It is the Tasmanian Devil. Funnily enough, the one state that it is found in the wild in is Tasmania. Who would have thought? And finally, in 1967, we here in Australia quite literally lost our Prime Minister, Harold Holt, who disappeared while participating in what leisure activity?
I had not heard this, but I could imagine somebody being lost while boating or sailing.
That makes sense. Yeah, finally here, definitely betting 0. In a bid to finally put the jokes to bed, to the vibrating bed, as it were, I'm going to just say it was the activities of the tantric nature.
And I don't know if I said I'd bet 10 on that one.
Yeah, I did not get that, no. I figured I wouldn't know much about disappearances, so I bet 0. And I thought it would be funny if he was doing something totally normal and mundane and went missing, so I said golf.
Well, Ken was closest. It was actually swimming. He was a big swimmer, went swimming off the coast of Melbourne and never came back.
Yeah, makes sense.
And there is, in fact, in Melbourne, the Harold Holt Memorial Swimming Centre, which is somewhat ironic name, but there you go.
I had 80.
At 100. You didn't pull it out?
No, I
neither did Sting. Nice teamwork.
Got him.
Okay, that concludes the game today. Looks like Neal is the big loser today with 80 points. I did a wash. I remained at 90 points. And Jeff, congratulations with 100 points, just barely squeaking out a little bit of extra pointage in that round. You are the cream of the crop.
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And as the winner, as Brydon said, you have to do your best Australian accent, Jeff.
I thought the losers did that, Neal.
So let's see. It depends on what you want me to say.
Pick a movie.
I think you should say the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge.
All right, yeah, I can do that.
He just did it, so now you just have to do that. Not hard.
No, I'll do that. I just want to say, though, my favorite thing in Australian, in the language that I hear to my ears, and it is candy to my ears, is when certain Australians say no. And they go, no. That's my favorite thing in the world. All right, let's see. The game where a lack of... The game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit... Oh, on British.
It was New Zealand at first, and then it went British. Has his struggle satisfied you?
The game
that satisfies me greatly. It was it wasn't bad to start with. It did become a bit Jimmy Bowes towards the end.
It did.
It's because you lived in England for too long.
It did. It did.
Well played.
All right, well done, Neal. That was a blast. Thank you, Brydon, for the questions and hosting, and of course for your support on Patreon. We surely appreciate it.
Yeah, look, I've been listening to Triviality almost since the start, I think, and look, I love the humor of the show. I often listen to it while I'm driving into the studio to film the chase, and you'd be surprised. There have been occasions where something has come up on the show that I've just listened to on Triviality, that day. So it helps me. I love the content. I know a lot of work goes into it, so I'm always happy to support you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much, and of course, you're welcome back anytime.
Yes. Where can people find you, Brydon, if they'd like to follow your writing, your career, everything else?
You can find me certainly on Twitter at Brydon Coverdale. That's where I do a lot of my my social media. I'm always there and thereabouts on the Triviality social media as well. So that's about it, I think. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much for joining us. We loved all the questions. They were really well written. Special thank you to your wife and kids for giving you some time to host here today, and also putting it in your schedule. We know how busy you are, and we really appreciate it. And for Jeff,
hey, do it in the accent.
For Jeff, that was pretty good.
That's not bad.
For Jeff, Ken, Matt, and Brydon, that was Triviality.
But not Neal.
But Triviality was the only thing that was British. I was pretty good on that all the way up until then.
Nice try.
Good day, everyone.
I would love a nature documentary narrated by
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
Daniel Plainview specifically.
Watch as the tiger. I can't even think of what to say.
You see, he approaches his prey.
He will slit his throat
when he's sleeping.
The way the hummingbird
he'd have
approaches
to
the
go
flower.
He'd have to go and live in the wild for like 5 years to prepare for it, though, wouldn't he?
Yes, exactly.
I just imagine a hummingbird drinking from someone else's flower, and it's...
I drink your nectar.